It's 1754 in London. An old man sits at his desk by candlelight, a yellowed parchment paper in front of him, a quill pen in his hand. He calculates the date of his death, lifts the pen, and a single date appears on the paper. November 27th, 1754 is the date he has calculated for his own death, and the terrible thing is that when that day comes, he actually dies of natural causes. This man's name is Abraham de Moivre, a mathematician and a genius, perhaps the only man in history to correctly predict his own death date. So how did this happen? Let's tell the story from the beginning. May 26, 1667. A boy is born in Vitry-le-François, France. His name is Abraham. He becomes interested in mathematics at an early age. Numbers, geometric shapes, logic games. For him, these are not a pastime, but a way of life. But the world Abraham lives in is shaped more by religion and political struggles than by science. Abraham was born into a Protestant family. At that time, the Catholic faith was dominant in France. In 1685, King Louis XIV abolished the Edict of Nantes, and the crackdown on Protestants began. Churches were closed, worship was banned, and thousands were imprisoned. Young Abraham had two choices: abandon his faith or leave his country. He chose freedom. Under cover of night, he left France. He set off for England. When he arrived in England, he had almost no money in his pocket. He stayed in cheap hotel rooms for shelter and gave private lessons in mathematics, logic, and geometry to survive. At that time, London's famous coffee houses were places where scientists gathered. It was in one of these coffee houses that Abraham had a life-changing meeting. One day, he met two great names of the time, Isaac Newton and Edmund Halley. Newton, the genius known for the discovery of gravity. Halley, the namesake of the famous Halley's Comet. Newton's Principia Mathematica was one of the most challenging works of the period, but Moivre knew it almost by heart. This talent opened doors for him in the world of science. In 1718, Abraham de Moivre published one of his most famous works, The Doctrine of Chances. This book became one of the cornerstones of probability theory, from gambling to statistical forecasting. But what put him on the mathematical map was a formula we still use today, de Moivre's formula. This formula revolutionized the calculation of powers of complex numbers. It is still used in dozens of fields, from engineering to physics, from computer science to wave theory. But what makes Moivre more interesting than his scientific achievements is the prediction he made about his own death. In his old age, he noticed that his sleep time was getting longer and longer. Every day, he was sleeping exactly 15 minutes extra. He sat down and did the math. If this increase continued, one day his sleep time would reach 24 hours. And on that day, he would not wake up. According to his calculations, the date was November 27th, 1754. When that day came, Moivre went to bed and never woke up again. Moivre's story shows that mathematics is not only about numbers, but also about life itself. His contributions to probability theory, statistics, and mathematical analysis are still among the cornerstones of modern science. And his life reminds us that sometimes numbers tell us not only about the world, but perhaps also about our destiny. But do you think Abraham de Moivre's death was just a coincidence? Or was he really a man who foresaw his own end?